Hey guys, Kyle with Dirt Bike Channel here again. Today we are talking about two-stroke premix oil. Pay no attention to the fact that we have a four-stroke sitting here in the foreground because today's all about mixing gas and hauling. Okay guys, I get asked all the time what two-stroke premix oil I use. This is one of my old Motorex Crosspower 2T bottles here of oil. This is something that I used for a long time, and I ran this at about 60 to 1. That's what the manual calls for. Anywhere from 50 to 60 to 1 is what I'd run this, and it worked really fine. The only downside to that is then you had to have a mixing cup, and you'd have to basically, I'd have to take a look here and say, okay, I want this thing to be mixed at whatever ratio, and then I'd put in, say, 2.5 gallons worth of oil, dump that into my can, and then do it again. So now I've got 5 gallons worth of oil in my gas can, and then I'd fill the gas can up with 5 gallons of oil. Not a big deal, but it does, require an extra step. When I switched over to AMSOIL, one of the reasons why I wanted to do it is I knew that AMSOIL makes a good product, but the other thing is they come in these pre-measured bottles. So this bottle, AMSOIL is rated to run, if you look at this oil is rated to run at 100 to 1. So you can run this anywhere from 80 to 1 to 100 to 1. And the cool thing is, if you have a 5-gallon gas can, you dump this 8-ounce bottle of AMSOIL in there and you're going to be at 80 to 1. So what usually I do is I'll dump this in there and dump this bottle into my gas can, and then I'll put in 5.5 gallons of gas, because my gas can will actually allow me to do 6 gallons. If I do 5.5 gallons of gas, that puts me, if you read this, and I know you probably can't from this angle, but if you do the math, 5.5 gallons with 8 ounces of this makes this a 90 to 1 mix ratio, which is right in between the mix ratio that it covers. It covers from 80 to 1 to 100 to 1. I've done it at 100 to 1. It also works totally fine. It's easier for me to get 5.5 gallons in my actual gas can. So I've been using this. The other cool thing though is it comes in these 3.5 ounce containers, and these are for when you're doing your long rides out there. You can carry one of these guys in your backpack, and that will mix 2.5 gallons worth of gas. So if you are somewhere and you need to just dump this into your gas tank and then use pump gas right into your two-stroke, you can do that. Well, that would make you run a rich oil premix. But because your oil would be thicker, your oil and your gas would be thicker with more of this in, that would actually mean that your overall mix through the carburetor would be lean. So one thing to keep in mind, and I'll probably do a video on this in the future, but if you have a lot of oil in your gas, i.e. you're mixing your gas rich, what that will effectively do to your overall fuel to air mixture is it will lean the fuel to air mixture, because more oil means your fuel air mixture through the carburetor and into the engine will actually be leaner. Just a side note. I really like the AMSOIL product, and I buy this by the case directly from AMSOIL. I think it's on amsoil.com. And a case right now at the time of this filming, a case of 12 of these little guys is 56 bucks. So when you actually do the math, because the Crosspower is so expensive, it actually comes out to they're a wash. By the time you buy 3 of these or 12 of these, you're essentially at 50, 55 bucks, 54 bucks. And so they're pretty much the same price. And I really like the convenience of the AMSOIL, because I don't need the mixing cup anymore. I just dump these things and go. So that's what I've been using right now. Go ahead and leave a comment about what premix you use and how rich you like to run your bike. I know every bike's different, but generally speaking, you should go with what the manufacturer suggests in your owner's manual, and also with your oil. Since the AMSOIL is rated a little bit differently, you don't have to run this 60 to 1. You can run this from anywhere from 80 to 100 to 1 in your two-stroke, especially if you got a late model KTM or Husky or Beta. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you soon.